So I thought there may be a brand new main box announced to go through today, but unfortunately there's not. Now, what we do have though is the upcoming updates, and unfortunately, again, things are looking not super great. Now, we know the month is going to be a KC Cup, right? And automatically, that is a good chunk of the month that's kind of taken up of just playing PvP and not really being that engaging for content. Now, of course, if the box beforehand is really good, then that does change things. We now know we're getting Torgai coming back as well, with Borrowed Furious Dragon as a reprint. And that, of course, is the fusion that we know and love that's really, really solid, but also, I believe, is a Varys Gate drop, and so it's a weird card to have highlight an event. Just a bit of a weird one. Then we've got the return of MARIK, come back with 2 brand new cards, right? Mercurial Destructor, of course, a classic DM anime card, and Holding Arms. Now, unfortunately, not the good one in the legs, but this one is still okay. There's also the Duel Quest coming as well, getting Detonation Code, a brand new card. Then late November is going to be Action Duels and Duels with Research, and that is literally it. Now, we're going to talk about the brand new cards, of course. First of all, is our Furious Dragon. It's a Varys drop, so, you know, we don't need to go through this one. Mikura, though, is a really old-school classic card, right? If it's entered from the Monster Hunter's graveyard, you can play a trap card from hand this turn. And in the TCG, this was enough to get it banned, I believe, back in the day. So, you know, it could be funky in Duel Links, right? If you link some with it, then you get to a trap card. If there's any good trap cards you want to activate, then that might be a fun little strategy, but I don't think it's going to be super crazy. We've also, from the same event, got the Holding Arms. Now, this on summon negates a card on your field, and it can't attack, which, you know, is plenty fine. And also, while the card says on the field, this card comes from by card effects or by battle. Now, that's not going to be super relevant, because if you're summoning this in attack mode, then you'll still take damage, right? So if you can specialist in defense mode, then it's okay as a bit of a wall, but all your opponent's got to do is link it off or sacrifice or anything else, and then that protection is gone. But, you know, being on summon, negate a card isn't too bad, but will it work with the MARIK deck, the RA deck? Probably not. Now, the better one is the Holding Legs, and this one is summoned, it's a Hey Trunade. One of the most powerful cards in Duel Links on a monster, would be pretty cool to get, and also in the grave you can banish it to lock down an opponent's card, which also is really, really solid. So I can understand why they're not giving us this now, give us this one first. But is it going to work in the whole MARIK deck? Probably not. Now, we also know that Nightmare Steel Cage was actually revealed in the card catalog accidentally as a level up reward for MARIK. Now, that doesn't make sense because we assume there is no level cap increase coming for DM World. Now, could it happen this month? Sure, it could do. But we are missing a big level cap increase that we should have had by now already, and one in December, which we should have, but may not because it may have like a trickling on effect. We'll talk about that in a minute. Last of all is a brand new card edition code. If you control a Topologic Link monster, you can target one Dark Non-Link Dragon, Machine or Cyberse monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And of course, it has some recursion, resets itself, that's fine. Now, are we going to be getting any new Topologic monsters in Duel Links, right? Because at the moment, what have we got? Well, we've got the Bomber Dragon, and that's it. So, is this only going to be useful for Bomber Dragon, or are we going to get something like Trisbana, or Gumblar Dragon, even though it's been nerfed, right? Like we could get literally anything on the sun, and it does feel a bit interesting, right? That we've got this card coming, that's a Revolver card, Furious Dragon is being rerun by Tour Guide. Is that hinting as to something coming down the line? Of course, we do have Burst Protocol and OCG being focused around Borrowed. The synergy is kind of there. The big thing about Nightmare Steel Cage, right? If this was hinting at a potential DM level cap increase, why not do it with DM World Refresh, right? That would have been the best time to do it. But if you know that going forward for the rest of the year, into January, you might be focusing on Rush Duel in December, which you would kind of hope given that we thought we were going to be getting a Go Rush character in November, then it could make sense to have a DM level cap increase for Speed Duel and just kind of ride that through, right? However, it's not that simple because we are overdue a level cap increase for Go Rush World, right? You look at every other year, we've had the level cap to 35 in the first year of the world being released. We go to, say, Zexal, right? Zexal got theirs in August, right? That was the latest we possibly had. Before that, it was like level 35 for DSD was in February. These ones here were alongside GX events, and then after this, they basically went to putting it alongside a related event. So the Zexal cap increase was alongside the Trace first unlock, and then the 40 was leaked as a rerun. Arc 5 was with Sora, and then Duelist Road. Reigns was with Varys, and then we don't know. because we assumed, based on the pattern of the last like 4 years of December, that we were going to be getting a Duelist Road for Vrainswald, right, or an event for Vrainswald to unlock the cap to 40. Now, we could still get that, but we're still missing the Go Rush to 35. And you can see we've been following like a stair-stepping pattern for the last couple of years, right? And so I would imagine that if we are getting a Go Rush character in early December, around December 2nd, December 3rd, right at the start of the event, then we'll get the Go Rush 35 cap, but we probably won't get the cap increase of Vrainswald, because I don't think they'll do 2 worlds of cap increase in one go. Now, they could do, because they're both small worlds, and that would then get us back on track, right, in terms of like a yearly cadence, but they may not. Another thing is, if we go and have a look at the characters so far, released in Duel Links last couple of years, right, 2021 was 13 characters, and a decent spread, right? Disty, of course, missed out because we got the DM character in Duke. 2022 was also pretty good, 12 characters, no DM character, but we got Disty. And overall, that was a good spread. 2023, the release of 7th World in Duel Links, 15 characters, which is really, really good. And of course, Disty, not getting anything GX, again, kind of being treated like shit, honestly. But, you know, overall, a decent spread. Again, 2024, 15 characters. This was also pretty decent, right? Disty again, nothing. GX, nothing. DM, nothing. Which all kind of makes sense, right? Given they were focusing on, you know, Go Rush World and making Rush a little bit more popular. And having, again, a good spread of the characters, right? You know, 4 for Go Rush, 3 for 7s. That is less than half of your characters being Rush Duel. But also, it's a good amount, right? It's very close to half of it being Rush Duel. And then we get to 2025. And so far we have 12 characters, which, okay, if we assume we're getting 1 December, that'll be 13. However, 3 of those have been alt styles. They've been lesser characters in terms of rewards, card pool, gems, etc. Of course, in terms of like meta relevance, right? Look at Soulburn and Flame, he was really good. Kyber, of course, of the Brand New World was really good. Yugi as well was also okay, but all of them didn't really need to exist, right? You could have had their cards regardless of skill regardless, and the exact same thing would have happened. And so we've gone from 50% of our content being Rush Duel in 2024 to a third of it being Rush Duel if we solely look at brand new characters. If we include the old styles and include a potential one in December, that's only 25% of our content when it comes to characters was Rush Duel. And so when we first saw these alt styles come to Duel Links, we probably all assumed that this will be a way for them to buff up some months, right, where there's filler content, or if they're doing a Rush character, give an alt style, right? And so we hoped that these blank spots here would be filled in, but they're not. They're still not. And so we'll see how things go right into December. Hopefully there's a character. I beg there is, right? Either way, right, we're going to be missing out on either a cap increase for Go Rush or a cap increase of Reigns, or maybe we get both. Maybe they go and do an unlock event for Rush Duel from December 2nd through to, I believe, like the 11th or 12th. Then you go through the Go Rush Festival through to that other weekend, and then you've got that back half of December to do a Duelist Road, give of Reigns level cap increase as well, and then make things better. But at the moment, this doesn't look great, right? Where if you take out the alt styles, we've had 9 characters this year. And that's a massive, massive decrease, not just compared to the Rush Duel years, but compared to years prior. And of course, it's kind of to be expected, right? Because Duel Links can't last forever, and so these alt styles are ways to kind of prolong the game's lifespan. But there's so many other characters they could bring for Arc 5, for Zexal, for Vrainswald, right? That they seemingly aren't. And even like for the Rush Duel worlds, right? We've been waiting since February for a brand new Rush character for Go Rush World, and it's not happened yet. And so, Go Rush being the first world ever in Duel Links history to not go to 35 in the space of a year is a little bit worrying, So we'll see, we'll see if anything kind of comes from this in the next month's updates. But overall, November looking just like it exists, right? It is solely going to kind of depend on what happens with the brand new box, right? What is happening late November when we get confirmation of the Go Rush Cup, if that's happening still, when we get confirmation of a brand new character event in December. It's not the most interesting in the world, right, at all. So that's my thoughts on the brand new updates. Let me know down below what you think. Am I coping too much? Am I worrying too much? I'm sure we'll find out very soon about our brand new box, and hopefully it'll be really, really good. So fingers crossed. Anyway, thanks for watching. Adios.